Today we're going to learn about how to do Tunisian crochet. For Tunisian crochet, you generally need a different style of hook than you normally use. This is what you can usually find in the store. I believe this was from Walmart. It's got a hook at one end. It's very long. There's no thumb rest. It's just perfectly straight at the gauge that it is. And then there's a plastic stopper at the end showing the size. So this one's 4 millimeters. That's the most likely one you're going to be able to find. What I like to get though is the double-ended hooks because I find that they are more useful to me. You can do Tunisian in the round and also crochet with double-ended hook. These ones I bought this one I got online. I believe it came from Mary Maxim. So marymaxim.com or marymaxim.ca. And today I'm going to be using this bamboo one that I got from Amazon a long time ago in a set. So that's what it is. It's a double-ended hook. We're not going to be using both ends today. If you're doing a lot of stitches and you're using a double-ended hook, you might want to wrap it like an elastic band around this end just to keep the stitches from falling off. This is the only hook that I have for the yarn I want to use in this video. So we're just going to use this today. You can use a regular crochet hook to try out the technique. What you're going to be looking for in a regular crochet hook is how big this space is. So in front of the thumb rest and then after this sort of tapered throat area, this is your working area. And you can fit like 5-6 stitches on there. And that's enough to let you get the hang of the technique. And you can also use this style of hook for Tunisian entrelac, which I'll do a video about later, because it only has like 5 stitches at a time on the hook. So if you don't have a Tunisian hook or double-ended hook and you want to try this out, just grab your regular hooks, go through your stash and try to find one that's got the biggest area like this for easier crocheting. Okay, and one last thing about the hooks with Tunisian crochet is you want to use a bigger hook for Tunisian crochet than you would for regular crochet. I'm using Loops and Threads Impeccable. I just have some scrap here. And I normally use a 6 millimeter hook with that. So I am actually going to try and use, I was hoping I could find a 7, but I don't have a 7 millimeter Tunisian hook. So I'm going to use this 8 millimeter bamboo hook and see where we go. Another reason I've chosen this bamboo hook for the tutorial is that if I use one of my long metal hooks, like this is 14 inches long, I tend to hit my camera stand. Just trying to avoid that today. All right, we're going to start just like we would if we were crocheting normally in rows. And a slip knot, and we're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if you're using a regular crochet hook, just stick to 5 or 6 stitches so you have room for this next step. There's no turning chain in Tunisian crochet, so I should end up with 10 stitches. So I want 10 stitches. I'm going to chain 10 to start. Okay. I'm going to work into the back bump and insert the hook, yarn over, and pull up. Into the next chain, I'm going to insert the hook, yarn over, pull it up, and just keep doing that all the way across. And we should have 10 loops on our hook. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now this is how you start no matter what stitch you are doing, okay? You're going to do your chain, you're going to pull up your loops. Now we're going to work off our loops. To do this, we're going to yarn over, pull through 1, then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, all the way across. Just yarn over, pull through 2. Until you have 1 loop left on your hook. Again, this is how you start your Tunisian crochet no matter what stitch you're doing. This is always what the first row is, mostly because there's only one way to work into your base chain. All right, so here's where this differs again from regular crochet, is how you insert the hook. We're doing the simple stitch today, Gives you lovely results. Gives you actually a very nice grid pattern that a lot of people like to cross stitch on. Okay, so the loop on our hook counts as a stitch. So here's the stitch below it. See how that vertical bar is there? So we want to go into the second vertical bar right here. And we're going to go just behind that one vertical bar. Yarn over and pull the loop onto your hook. So the next vertical bar, I'm going to go in behind that, yarn over, pull it up onto your hook. Do that all the way across. Okay, I should have 9 stitches now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we have this last stitch here. Now, the first time you do Tunisian crochet, especially if you're planning on putting an edging on whatever you're doing, or if it's just a swatch, just go behind the next vertical bar like that. Okay? Once you've got the hang of this technique, you might find you'd prefer, if I can show on the end there, we've got sort of 2 bars here. There's 1 and there's 2. If you put your hook behind both of those to yarn over and pull up your loop, you'll end up with a nice row of V's on that one side. It looks nicer, but if you're having trouble getting your hook in there, which you might if you're using a smaller hook, don't worry about it. Just go behind that one bar just to get the technique down. Okay, so we've got 10 loops on our hook. We're going to work them off. So we start with a yarn over, pull through 1, and then it's yarn over, pull through 2 over and over again until we get to the end. And there you have it. So just keep making rows like that. Remember, when you're inserting your hook, you skip this first bar and go under the second one. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Like that all the way across. Yarn over, pull through 1, and then pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, all the way across. So keep practicing this stitch. Try and make a square. Alright, so you're probably noticing, even though I'm using a hook that's probably bigger than I normally would with Tunisian crochet, my sample here is curling. That is perfectly normal for this stitch. This stitch is bigger on the back than it is on the front. And in a future video, I'll show you how to deal with that with a fun stitch pattern. But this really is a lovely pattern on its own. So if you are going to do a project that's just this stitch, do a edging and that should sort you out. I'd say, depending on the size of the project, you want like about at least an inch of edging just to keep that from curling. And again, if I'd used a smaller hook than this 8mm, like the 7 I'd hoped to use, it would have curled even more. Okay, so I started with 10 stitches, so I did 10 rows. The way you count your rows is you just look for those vertical bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you see my last row here is a lot lacier than the rest, and that's because we still need to do kind of a bind off sort of thing. So to bind off, you're going to insert the hook how you have been this whole time. You're going to yarn over, but you're going to pull through both loops on your hook. So it's just a slip stitch across, inserting your hook how you have been this whole time. Alright. So there is our little swatch. Now mine is a rectangle. Normally this stitch is pretty square, but I think what's happened here is because I've used a bigger hook than I normally might with this yarn. I think that's why mine's taller, but let's actually measure, see what we've got here. What's that, about 3¼ inches by 3½ inches, 4 inches. There we go. So in exchange for it not being square, it's not curling as much as I would expect. If I'd used the smaller hook, you could expect it to be pretty curly like this. So that's how you do the Tunisian Simple Stitch. Try it out and see if you like it. Next time I'm going to teach you how to do the Tunisian Purl Stitch, which if you alternate it with this one, makes a really nice flat textured design, if that makes sense. It'll lay flat, but it'll be textured. Thanks for watching. Okay, we should have 10 loops on our hook. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Well, guess I'm filming this again.